Today we are focusing on this, the new bike in Need for Speed Unbound. Now, there's a few things to know just before we get started, and this is something that I wish they kind of told me straight away. If you have over 200 cars in the game, single player and multiplayer, you are going to have issues. The issues that have been there since launch are now really showing their faces in that basically, literally got a minute left on this one, if you jack people's cars in the game, this is basically what you get to see. You get to use it to enter into this specific mode, and what you're supposed to be able to get is these special cars here. I actually managed to find this, and people were saying in my other video, I also found another one, this GTR. However, I didn't collect it, but I got Baron's custom car, I extracted it, as you can see, it's ticked off, but I don't actually own it. So yeah, quick PSA, sell your cars in single player and multiplayer if you're not really using them, which is kind of counterintuitive. There is an update that's going to change things. But anyway, that's a quick PSA. So this is the bike in Need for Speed. Just to let you know, it is only accessible in this mode and in a specific playlist, which we'll get to a little bit later. People in the community have already started making it so that you can use it wherever. Of course they have, but that's of course going to be limited to PC. I just want to experiment and play with this as we have it now and really get an idea for it. So shout out to Corey for sending this footage here of the bike. I mean, I've already used the bike, I know what it's like, but he got to use it for an extended period and the easy access to the footage, right? So a few quirks about the bike straight away. It is insanely fast, and of course the whole idea is that it has this special ability to the fact that it's tiny and can fit through the gates. Now, it's a little strange of an idea. It's kind of cool, I guess, but I'm kind of curious as to, are there going to be any areas on the map and stuff that you can just use this vehicle and press about with it with your friends? I mean, this game has been designed literally just for cars, which means so many areas have been designed and blocked off for cars, which are wide. This is 3 times shorter, slimmer, so I'm super curious. Anyway, one huge thing that I noticed with the bike, if you ride off-road on this damn bike, you basically don't get slowed down by the dirt. In the base game, basically what you have is a handling that, you know, when you're on the mud, it starts shaking a lot and the mud kind of gets thrown up and you slow down significantly, not hugely, but significantly enough to where you're going much slower than you were. It's physics, right? However, with the bike, it seems that it just throws those physics out of the window. They didn't even bother putting those in. I say even bother, but like, ultimately, it feels awesome to be able to just fly over the mountains and stuff with this bike, because I feel like once you get the bike, you're going to be trying to get to lockups. But however, people can just destroy you. So in that case, the speed balance, I think it's a fair thing. So anyway, this is the first time we've had bikes officially in Need for Speed, and clearly they're doing it as a test to basically see what we think, see what everyone's opinions are. I think it rides really good. It can be a little bit of a handful at times, and I think that's kind of the point, right? I mean, I feel like it might even not understeer enough as a bike normally does in the game. Therefore, if you did pit it against cars, which I'm sure they want to in the future, well, basically you're gonna have a terrible time if you're in a car, because this thing is just faster, quicker. The only way you could beat the bike is by knocking buddy off, which I do not suggest is the option criterion. So now to use them in the normal free roam, which I think they'll probably put the playlist on rotation at some point, which is going to be a lot of fun because there's going to be so many people trying it. But in these top playlists, you'll see these are Road Rash, we've got Thrills and Spills, Redemption. All of these events are the bikes only, which I think is super, super awesome. And of course, we're going to check some of these out. Fun fact, they actually made it so you can just do these events on your own in one of the previous updates. So you can check out the bike if you're, you know, not skilled enough to get access to it from the lockdown. This is a really cool thing because ultimately, we gave feedback and basically said, look, the bikes are going to be super sick and people are going to want to try these out. They don't want to just lock them down, get it, to just the mode, because ultimately it's just going to restrict it to a crazy level. There's a few reasons as to why it's not in free roam. It's the same as the cops. But ultimately, they just didn't want to ruin the balance. If you throw this in and let everyone race with it, well, hell, maybe the world just completely breaks with it in the free roam. There's a lot of things that could go wrong. And so I personally was be like, I still don't get why they can't just be in free roam, the bikes especially. Because ultimately, like, what are you gonna, I guess maybe you could break the events Maybe the free roam events. But again, does anyone actually care if the free roam events get broken if you leaderboard score? It doesn't even have leaderboards. The bikes need to be in free roam. I demand it. So top speed's 188 according to this. Oh, mate, it's not even, it's apparently just in S+. Now, one thing that's kind of frustrating with the bike events that we can actually play, all of them, from what I know, are at night. I don't know why. I mean, even the camera doesn't work properly on the bike, as you can see. They're just a little bit jank, but ultimately, I prefer the fact that we have them than rather than, you know, not. So this guy is gonna try and do the race. I'm kind of curious. Do I need to do the race? Here's a little bit of, oh god, I do. That's unfortunate. I was wondering if that would be a cool way to try and get free roamers to just, you know, not do the race. But yeah, you can check out the bike. Jesus Christ. It sounds sick. It rides really well. You know, the one guy they've got making handling has done an incredible job on this. You still get the effects of curbs as per usual in Need for Speed. It's just kind of how it goes. But man, it's such a thrilling experience. It's kind of crazy that the sense of speed on these things feels kind of like what it should feel to drive a car in this game. They've somehow made it so that, I don't know if they've actually changed anything, to be honest. It's just pretty obvious this thing is damn quick. Jesus Christ. And this is kind of what cars accelerating should feel like on a normal basis, in a normal situation. Now, as I said, modders have been working hard to get this bike just available to use. And fun fact as well, the truck as well, the lockdown truck. People have been using that. And if I'm honest, I am incredibly tempted to check those out. So if any of you guys are actually working on them and you want to, you know, send Pants the files, I'll jump in and possibly get my account banned on PC for the sake of it. Look, I'm not going to use it to actually beat people and race people and bully people. I just want to do it for fun. Like, me and Matthew will just prat about with these ridiculous cars for, you know, no reason. Because, of course, you will see PC players using them because crossplay. Man, you really... Criterion, listen to me. I think, considering that this is done day one, people have managed to get access to these damn bikes. I think they really, really, really need to just put them in free roam. They do. There's the cops I can get because you're just gonna harass people and bully people, but the bikes, man, I don't care if I get stuck and go flying and things like that. That's all part of the fun, baby. Just get it done. And the guy's waiting at the finish for me. Bro. Bro. What was that about? God, the bikes are so sick. They are so sick. But it brings the question of, like... Oh, that's so good. It brings the question of, like, what should they do going forward? Should they integrate them so that you race cars and bikes? Or should they separate it and make it so that you can only race bikes with bikes and cars with cars? But then maybe every now and again there's a chance to do that. But again, in free roam, you can experience those things. There's a couple of things I want to try with it. Like, we can't really do a donut, it would say. Oh, there you go. There you go. Just a little bit looser on the brake. Oh, that's sick. That is so sick. Oh my god, what the This is sick. Okay, this I didn't know we could do. We're doing like tricks and shit. You pop a wheelie by... What? Like, they put so much effort into that. That's crazy. And I love that if you're stunting, it just resets you on the spot. That's kind of handy. I completely forgot to try wheelies and stuff. If you just try and pop a wheelie, there you go. Oh, mate. Oh, mate, that's just... Why have they done... That's unnecessary. You do stoppies? You can do stoppies! Why did I not think to try these damn things? Kind of curious what the first person did. Yeah, it's just very fun. I thought they would at least, like, kind of show the hood, if you will, of the bike. They've done a really good job. The sound design, the handling of it, the animations of it. It's honestly so sick. I mean, it's pretty obvious that there's got no NOS flames, which I thought was an odd move, to be honest. I don't really know why they haven't put the NOS flames on it. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it just didn't translate easily enough, or maybe it's going to change. Because there is going to be another patch coming very, very shortly. Yo, the stoppies are so sick! And the wheelies! Yeah, no, absolutely. We're gonna make a second piece on this for friends, and we are gonna check this out. to another level. You know, I really don't imagine there's that many areas that are going to completely balk the bike. It's not going to be that big a deal. Maybe there's an issue where they can't actually lock it to free roam and not let you get into races. Like, maybe if you have it available in free roam, there's no way to be like, yep, it's also, it can't be used in races. No, because they can do that. But maybe they can't make a new category. There's so many things that, basically, in case you don't know, the team that is now working on the game is not headed up by the main team that was essentially working on the core experience of Need for Speed Unbound. Like previously, the creative design team and things like that, they're completely different. That's why it changed in where you can get the effects and things like that turned off now, because the creative lead didn't want that to happen, which, you know, I understand trying to keep with your vision and things like that, but I'm going to be honest, that was kind of a bad call. But essentially, they would have put these things in place. This is one of the reasons that a lot of this stuff just isn't as easily changeable as, like, the camera on the intros and things like that. They're being balked because of the bike. I mean, it just kind of makes sense that they can't really go in and retool these type of things. And that genuinely might be one of the only reasons we can't get access to the truck. Oh, this guy's just, like, not finishing the race so that I can actually experience and play with the bike. I appreciate that, bud. That's so nice. What a nice community. So, going forward with the bikes in the future of Need for Speed, I think my perspective on it is very impossible to balance them in a way that doesn't just ruin the bikes. That's my opinion on it. In every situation, you just make the bikes worse. That's kind of the point, ultimately. Like in the crew, for example, which is probably one of the more recent examples, the bikes, when's the last time you used them? You probably didn't. And that's because they just make them understeer to damn hell. And ultimately, that's not really how bad the understeering is. It can get bad, but it varies bike to bike. And ultimately, you know, adjust your speed sensibly and you'll be fine. You're not just going to crash and die every... It's a racing game. Like, you need to make them fun overall. Not all cars turn as well as they do in racing games. Not all cars... I mean, we could drift around damn corners, for God's sake. But anyway, I think they should have them. But as I said, in a kind of separate scenario situation. So you can use bikes or cars. But I think in free roam and in custom events, you should be able to put them head to head. But I think it should be designed like that from the go. But if you pick a bike, most other people have a bike. Could there be cars in the race? It could be kind of fun, but I'm okay if they initially just kind of split it like that. I think that's probably one of the better ways to do it. You know, you might disagree. I think that's the whole point of this kind of discussion. And of course, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, but I would rather have really good bikes like this that aren't raceable against cars than nerfed bikes that go against cars that just win everything because they are the default, right? You know, yeah. And then in like free roam and on multiplayer, you can just kind of do what you want if you set it like that. To be clear, free roam should just let you use whatever. And of course, then customization on bikes. I would argue that customization on bikes is going to be pretty sick. I feel like it's incredibly limited. As someone that has an R1, it is so limited to the point where most customizations on bikes is adding like rubber stoppers and stuff so that if you drop your bike, you don't damage it. You need really specific bikes to be able to change a lot, and being able to change stuff on these like crazy race bikes like the Yamaha R1 and things like that would be so sick, and it might even like inspire real stuff to be made like that. I feel like bikes are so small that you could genuinely 3D print, personally 3D print a lot of cool fender editions and things like that. Have I just sold myself on a 3D printer? But yeah, it would be so cool to just come into this open world and just prat about with a bike. Hell, get into chases with cars versus bikes as we decide. I'm not gonna let this one go, Criterion. We absolutely need them in free roam. Cops, I'll let you off, you know? But get it done. I don't care what it takes. I don't care if we delay the next game by another month. Oh my God. This has gone well. I want those bikes in now. The free roam. Unacceptable. Bike free roam? Bike specific free roam? An event, an open-ended event with no checkpoints. It's just something. Something. Until next time, my friends, I will see you building the car very soon. Like, it's just going to take me some time, and so I'll probably be streaming to try and grind out and get all the customization for the, you know. So check out these while you wait.